Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Vivian from ThePaperLetterBlog, and today I'm here with another super fun and really easy Penpal project. Right now I think I'm going to call it an envelope book. It's different from a normal envelope flip book and I'll quickly show you why. First of all, I'm showing you the supplies I'm using. As you can see, if you look real closely up at the top, there's this little box, which is actually my Your Creative Studio box from the month of June. If you missed it, I uploaded a music/paper sounds unboxing last Friday. And there were some things in there that inspired me to make this project. So the first thing I did is I die cut some craft paper, some quite sturdy craft paper, into these little envelopes. The envelope dies are from In Love Art Shop. I will also link them down below because I have a discount code which you might be interested in. I don't get paid to say that, who doesn't love discount codes? And what I did is I die cut these envelopes, and then I also die cut kind of a window out the front of the envelope because I am going to once again make little windowed envelopes. Originally I had a completely different idea, which I might still do sometime in the future, but I ended up going with something else because while I was rummaging through, I'm sorry for my head, this is something I have to concentrate on because these pieces of see-through paper need to be the exact size of the window. While I was rummaging through my supplies, I found a project by Ariana that I will show you in a second because I also show it in this video, and then I decided to do something completely different. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting that paper from Your Creative Studio. I'm cutting that the design. I'm trying to find like pieces that I like to show through the window. So I did that off camera. I showed you a little bit, but of course I'm not going to do all of that on camera. And I simply glued them in there with wet glue, like tacky glue, because unlike actual vellum, this doesn't wrinkle, which is great. The next thing I'm doing is I am cutting a piece of cardstock to size. I'm going to make the cover of the flip book out of this, and there's the project that inspired me to do this. This paper pad is from Action. This project was sent to me by Ariana already quite a while ago, and basically it's quite difficult to explain, but it's envelopes, and then you how do I explain this? You put just like a journal with inserts, you put a piece of string through the envelope, and then you tie that around the spine of the flip book, so that's like the binding of it. It's difficult to explain, but I'm showing it here. As you can see, the envelope is not like glued shut just yet, because I'm actually going to glue the ribbon inside of the envelope at the bottom, so that way that's like my binding. So I'm not gluing the envelopes, I am not washi typing the envelopes, I'm not stitching the envelopes. All I do is I glue the envelope around. I glue the envelope with this yarn, it's called yarn, not ribbon, not twine, yarn inside of it, as you can see here. See? So that's what I'm doing. I made a mistake because I somehow managed to make 5 gaps while I only made 4 envelopes. So what I ended up doing is I just die cut a 5th envelope out of one of those translucent papers again, because I was so tired when I was doing this. I just completely spaced. And I made a 5th gap. I made a 5th yarn piece binding something. So these are all of my envelopes, and I was just trying to figure out what looked nice, what went well together, because of course when you flip through it you're going to see all of them. And then the next thing I'm doing is I'm simply gluing the envelopes shut the way you would normally glue them shut, except this time you have the binding inside. I really hope this makes sense. It's difficult for me to explain, but I hope that when you look at it, you'll see what I mean. Oh, before I forget, I will link Ariana's Instagram down below. Big thank you for giving me the inspiration for this project. And I'm also linking the supplies I'm using and the Your Creative Studio books down below as well. So here I'm starting to actually decorate it. Like I said, what are they called? Dragonfly supplies are all from the box, as well as some other goodies. And the first thing I wanted to do is use this Dragonfly stamp, but I was so afraid of accidentally messing up the print that I decided to stamp it onto some coffee dyed paper instead, so that when I messed it up, it wasn't on my flip book yet. And then I'm first going to tear it out a little bit. Oh yeah, I took a picture for it. I'm sorry for the interruption. Took a picture for Instagram. If you do not follow me there already, definitely do so. It's linked in the description box down below. I first tore around it because I like that look, but then I wasn't completely pleased with it, so I think I ended up making it smaller and smaller until, you know, I was pleased. The larger green paper pad that I'm tearing from, that the background paper is from, is also from Your Creative Studio, but then from a couple of months ago. I absolutely love that color sage green, and it coincidentally went quite well with my cover page. In this shot you can also pretty well see my binding style. Of course, could have made it look different by tying all of the yarn together or something like that, but I quite like this look. I mean, it shows that it's handmade, and it shows I don't know, I kind of like it. It looks a little bit messy, but I also think that it does look quite tight. I don't know. So what I'm doing here is I'm using my new scissors from Holtz. I almost spoiled something, and then I realized that no one apart from my patrons really knows this yet, but I'm doing a super exciting collaboration, like one-time brand rep type thing with one of my favorite craft stores, and I will upload that video probably in a couple of days because I want to have it uploaded before my break. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I will also talk about these little scissors. So I cut the Dragonfly out, and I actually think it looks quite nice. So it's just coffee dyed paper and then black ink, and it looks vintage. It's that simple. It's all new supplies. I just made them look old. And then I have a dozen things. I have this little drawer that I just collect paper scraps and stuff like that in. So I've just been grabbing from that. You will see me reach into that a lot for this video because the envelopes are mini. I don't know if you realize that, but the envelopes are actually really, really tiny. So it was a perfect excuse for me to use as many paper scraps as I could find. And then I also, that red label that you see beneath the I keep wanting to say butterfly, Dragonfly, is also stamped. It's just bright red ink on some wrapping paper from clothing. Yeah, if you look closely you can see that I wrote Amy, because this mail is going to Amy. When I am doing this voiceover, because I am very much on time for once, I actually sent it out today. I'm doing the voiceover on Monday, so I'm really hoping, I don't think it will have arrived because it's going to the UK, but maybe, fingers crossed, it has arrived by now. What you saw me do before I opened the flipbook is I stamped some miniature numbers because I was trying to find little stamps, little wooden stamps, but I don't actually have that many, so I ended up just stamping some numbers. The number 2, I don't know why. I just I don't know, very random. So what you saw me also do is cut out another dragonfly, but it ended up not fitting, so I cut it out for no reason. Could have cut that out of the video, but you know, I make mistakes, I'm just gonna leave them in here. And I'm now making a washi tape sample. So the second washi tape from the top, the one with, you guessed it, the dragonflies, is from the box as well. The other ones are from Note and Wish because I don't know, I just liked how the colors matched. So I just wrote some information about the washi tapes on the sample, and of course because I cut it to size, it fits in there perfectly. And I decided to add some Washi Dots as well. I've been obsessed with Washi Dots, in case you haven't realized. I'm not shopping on AliExpress anymore. I've been quite good. I mean, I have shopped on AliExpress, but I'm not allowing myself to purchase more Washi Dots, but it's so tempting because the colors are gorgeous. What I've done here, I didn't show that in the video either, but I made these 5 miniature wax seals. I did film it with my phone, so I think I'm going to turn that into a TikTok if you want to see. I'm going to use them in the... I ended up not using all of them because that would have made the flipbook very bulky. This is me adding some Nuvo drops. I just felt that I didn't want to clutter the front page too much because I quite liked that clean look, but of course it needed something else. So I ended up doing some Nuvo dots. This is me. I wanted to use the wax seals for closures, and the way wax seals are originally meant. But when I stack all of them up, because of course all the closures are in the same spot, when you stack all of them up, it becomes too bulky. So I ended up not using. I ended up only using 2 of the wax seals. So it's a little bit of a special touch, but it doesn't get like one bulky spot. Even though I gave myself plenty of wiggle room with making the spine a little bit fatter. If that makes sense. I made another mistake. I don't think you guys can see it because I'm flipping through it pretty quickly. But it was, if you follow me on Instagram, you already saw me share all of this. But it was a night where I was particularly exhausted. I've been exhausted, in case you haven't heard me ramble on about that. And I was particularly exhausted, and I made, first of all, I made the 5 slots for the envelopes while I only had 4 envelopes, so I had to die cut an extra envelope out of that translucent paper. And then, even though I thought about it and I measured it out and I made sure that I did it correctly, I still, don't ask me how, I still managed to make the envelope upside down. It's difficult to see from this angle, but the prints have some sort of an angle, some sort of a direction, so there's like text on them or something like that, and the text is upside down, so it's not that obvious, but of course when you're the receiver of this flipbook you can see that it's definitely upside down. So I would say that it's mistake after mistake with this mail, but I'm gonna give myself some slack and call it a happy little accident. If you're the receiver of this mail, it will hopefully give you something to smile about, knowing that I always manage to make things upside down. The next thing I'm doing is, because the fronts of the flipbook have that window, I decided to decorate, the fronts of the envelopes, I'm sorry, I decided to decorate the backs of them instead. As you can see, these envelopes are rather small, which is something that I actually quite enjoy, and it was a nice challenge to see if I could make miniature collages. So what I'm using are some stickers from the Note and Wish box, simply because they're in my vintage supplies drawer. And I also coffee dyed some doilies, so I'm using that, and I'm using some washi tape samples, and I'm using a whole lot of Paperscraps, which is good. And it's quite weird, I don't know if I would call it weird, but it's quite a thing for me that I haven't been crafting this month. I mean, I have made videos, which I enjoy, and I have made projects, which I enjoy, and today I managed to finally drop off 2 meals, so it's the end of the month and I've only made 2 meals in total, which is not a lot for me, but I have been making things, but I've been in a big creative funk. I don't like that word, funk. I have been unable to craft. And one of the reasons why is because don't get me wrong, I'm a lucky lady because I have a lot of people that I can reply to. Like, so many people have sent me mail over the past few months, and I'm eternally grateful for that. But it also means that I keep telling myself that I want to reply to everyone. So that's a bit of pressure that I put on myself, and then there's also a bit of pressure because I actually accepted a lot of like collaborations with brands, such as this Your Creative Studio box. I receive it for free because I make a video about it, which is a lot of fun, but then I'm not the type of person to just sit down in my craft room, make something real quick, upload it the next hour and be done with it. You know, I always, whenever I make something, I want to be proud of it, and I want whatever brand or shop I work with to also be pleased with what I've made. So long story short, you probably saw this coming. I put a lot of pressure on myself over the past few months, and especially because I didn't work for quite a couple months due to COVID and restaurants closing. I just felt like my YouTube had to take off. It had to do really, really well. I had to make something out of nothing, you know? Like my YouTube channel, it's not nothing, but I had to be successful, basically. So I put a lot of pressure on myself, and that has just caught up to me, and I realize now that, of course, I don't work that way. There's a ton of people who work very well under pressure and who want to prove themselves, but that's not me. I mean, I started this channel because it's my hobby, and I found pen paling at the right time when I was like very, 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 very deep in a well, unable to get out of it. I was anxious, I was depressed, I was sad all the time. I found pen paling when I needed it the most, and I was so enthusiastic about finding something that made me feel so good that I wanted to share that with as many people as possible. That is how I started this hobby, and now for some reason I told myself that it also had to be successful, and that put a very large that stressed me out. Obviously, I mean, who wouldn't get stressed out by that? And I'm not saying that people put that pressure on me, because no one did. You guys have been so kind whenever I share that I've been tired or that I've been stressed. People always tell me, Vivian, take a break, you know, we will wait, we will be here. So it's definitely a case of it's not you, it's me, and that's a learning process, and I'm learning to let that go, because this started as a hobby and it needs to stay a hobby, because yeah, I mean, why would I stress myself out? So I realized also with this project, I was very, I wouldn't say afraid of it, but I had that box, the Your Creative Studio box, in my room for a couple of weeks before I actually crafted with it, because I knew, like, I told myself, oh, I have to make a project and blah, blah, blah. And then when I was actually crafting, it went super fast. It came together really, really quickly. Apart from those mistakes in the beginning, I'm actually really pleased with how it turned out. And I felt quite creative, I guess. So this was a good outcome, but for other projects, there's a couple projects in my room that I haven't shared with you yet, because I've been working on them for weeks and they're just not happening. I mean, and that is why, okay, I'm going to go back to the project soon, I promise. That is why I'm taking that month-long break, or at least a month. I'm going to take a break from at least a month. I'm going to craft because I want to. I'm going to craft what I want to, and not think about how it looks on camera, or how it, you know, will it be popular on Instagram or social media. I'm just going to craft for me. How did I get to this point? I completely forgot. Oh yes, well, this is my last pen pal tutorial for a while. That feels weird to say, and I wanted to explain, and it's not a sob story, it's nothing negative. I feel like this has been a learning process for me, and you know me, I love to share my learning processes. So when I come back, hopefully I will focus on sharing my hobby again, and I will not focus on likes and dislikes and views and stuff like that. I've never been about that, and it feels kind of weird to all of a sudden think about that a lot more. So that is my story. I also I went for a walk in the forest this afternoon. It was raining. It was not a good timing, but I realized that ever since I started this channel, I haven't taken a break. Like, sometimes I've missed an upload date or something like that, but I've never taken like maybe a week long break for like a holiday or something like that, but nothing like this. So it will be a learning experience, I suppose. So back to this meal. What I've been doing is I've obviously been making collages. I've used on this page you see here, I have also used one of those Your Creative Studio Dragonfly stickers. They are see-through normally, but I stuck it down on a piece of paper that I didn't like it there, so I tore it back off. And then I also tore some of the paper, so now it's not see-through anymore, but it looks kind of cool. And then I've also filled up all of the envelopes with goodies. The first one, of course, I talked you through. That was the washi tape samples and the washi tape dots. And then we have one. I also write on most of them. I write the content, of course. So washi tape samples, washi tape dots. The second one has tickets. I believe the third one has journal paper. Like in the Your Creative Studio box, in this one as well as an older one, there was this tiny paper pad. It's really cute. It's like the littlest paper pad that has all sorts of images. This one was coffee themed, which I don't know how it relates to the Dragonfly theme. I mean, it doesn't, but I also had an older one from a different box that I received a couple months ago, so I just tore off some pieces of those journal paper pads. I put them in one of the envelopes. Then there is an envelope with a ton of stickers that were in this box as well as in my personal stash. The only thing is they had to be small enough to fit into the envelope. That was quite a challenge. That was quite a challenge. And then the last envelope, which you see on the right, has vintage cutouts. I call them vintage, but basically they're just little images that I cut from old books. I love doing that whenever I feel anxious. So that's what I've been doing. And then this, I actually decorated this today. I'm quite sad. The fourth envelope, the one that I decorated just now, is my least favorite, which is not a good way to end the project. But then again, I do love all of the other ones, so, and I still like it. It's just, it's not my favorite. So the next thing I'm doing is I got these mini golden eyelets, and I'm just using my eyelet setter to punch a hole and set the eyelet. This is gold thread. It looks a little orangey, but when I purchased it, they called it gold. So normally you would use this for sewing or in your sewing machine, but I thought it tied everything together, so I'm literally using it to tie up this project. Here I'm trying to make a bow, but I actually ended up using, like, not making a bow, but just tucking the ends of the thread behind the rest of the thread. I quite like that look. It looks a little bit neater than this thing that I would call a bow. So here you can see it up close. I hope this tutorial made sense. Of course, if you end up making one, I would love to see it. As always, you can use the hashtag ThePaperLetterBlog. I check them out every now and then. I love seeing what you guys make. I love your take on my videos, I suppose. So definitely share them there. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. I do, even though this is my last Penpal tutorial for a while, I do have one more or maybe two more, depending on how I feel, videos coming up. The one that I'm talking about now is from my very exciting one-time collaboration, so definitely come back to check that out. And if that's it, then yeah, I suppose I will see you in a month or something. It feels very weird. I'm not ready yet. This is the envelope that I ended up making off camera. This paper is from Marigold. I got that from Craft Bird. I'm just showing you the contents of the envelope. I have this what is it called, cacti envelope that holds my letter. There's the washi tape. I have the little hello card with my logo on it. Then I have these little things. The receiver will know what they are, but I'm keeping it a secret for a little bit longer until I figured out how to share. And then that's it. I ended up sending this out today. I'm very pleased. These are some other clips I'm just using to share my outro. As you can see by the odd cuts, I'm actually planning on using these for TikTok again or Instagram. I don't know yet. I quite enjoy making those little videos, so definitely follow me. I don't have to say that again. You get the idea. So weird little clips to say my goodbyes. I will see you very, very soon. This is not me leaving YouTube forever. I hope that you're all doing well. Don't forget that you can watch all of my older videos because I've made hundreds. This is the wax seal I ended up making. Isn't that pretty? I love it so much. Yeah, you can join me. I don't know. I will talk to you again very soon. This is just weird. Okay, thank you so much for supporting me, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye!